at least get going. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Ohayo gozaimasu, konnichiwa, konbanwa, bonjour, whatever you speak. My name is Doug Brunke. I'm the founder and CEO of Global Chamber. I'll start out by apologizing that we've been kind of focused in on some other things here at Global Chamber. So I did a miserable job of marketing this event. And part of the challenge was also Kaoru was not available when we first had our initial schedule for this event, and we moved it to make sure that she would be available because she's a key player for us, a key leader. I also wanted to get feedback from any members that would be part of this conversation for some things that she's working on, both for Global Chamber and also for her business. And so it became honestly a priority. Our goal, her needs were a priority. And so we do have our goal to have the Global Chamber Sydney and the Global Chamber Tokyo have ongoing meetings and conversations. And so there'll be other opportunities where a bigger group comes in. Also in Japan, we have Global Chamber Osaka forming, and we will be at Osaka 2025. The date I have is May 25th, and I think that's a Sunday. So I don't understand why that's the date. I don't think it may not be the right date, or maybe it is the right date and we're going to actually meet on a Sunday. I'm not sure. But we'll have more information about that, I believe, in this next coming week. I just realized that date was thrown out. I think it's actually even on our calendar, but it needs to be revised. So thank you for joining today, and hopefully you'll gain some information about the market, the markets, because most of what we'll be talking about today will be Japan oriented and also Australia oriented, and some of the things we're planning to put together for both areas. But also you might have mentioned global, or you might have noticed that there's a lot of activity around global business right now. There's a lot of conversation. There's a lot of changing. There's a lot of thinking. There's a lot of planning. And undoubtedly, there'll be conversations in this meeting that will involve other parts of the world. We're starting at the top of the hour. I have now 7 minutes after the hour. We will work very hard to be finished up by 55, so 5 minutes before the top of the hour. And if we run out of things to talk about, then we'll finish ahead of that. We do have an agenda, and I would like to start by introducing Kaoru Nishinakagawa. She is a global advisor for Global Chamber, both in Sydney and Tokyo. But above and beyond that, she's an extraordinary leader, some of which you may have heard if you've been part of a couple of the meetings that she's spoken at Global Chamber. She's an extraordinary resource for businesses in Australia to be thinking about not just the Japanese market, but exporting outside of Australia. Her expertise, along with several other members, including Christelle Damiens, has inspired us to set up Export League from Australia that we'll be introducing soon to help Australian companies export out of Australia. Kaoru, thank you for joining us today. Thank you for your leadership. I'd like, if you don't mind, to start with maybe an introduction of you to tell us more about the things that you're involved with, and also segue into some of the questions that you have regarding some things that you want to do around trade missions that will be aligned with some of the things that are happening at Global Chamber. Do you mind starting that way and maybe talking a little bit about things that you're doing, and also ultimately some observations that you have of the market right now?
Sure. Yeah. Hello, everyone. My name is Kaoru. It's not the easy name to pronounce. So if you don't mind, if you just don't know how to say my name right. And technically it's Nishinakagawa Kaoru. So I'm originally from Japan, moved to Australia 14 years ago, right after the earthquake, 2011. So it was a crazy transition for me. But my background in general is a lot in technology, innovation, and consulting. That I would say the three pillars of my background. But throughout my life, I've been doing a lot of network, connecting people across the global. So my journey started from semiconductor trading companies, so imported a lot of like leading edge technology from US to Japan, spoke to all the large technology companies like Sony, Sharp, Panasonic, everyone. And that was a great job. But I moved to Australia for a company called Getty Images, so digital marketing companies, a lot of image licensing. I don't know if you ever heard of it. Then after just settle in Australia, I did an MBA and it changed my life to be consultant. So it's a crazy, a great journey throughout my life already. But yeah, it's been great. So last 8 years, my focus has been in innovation. So what's innovation? A lot of people are just confused, or some people already are aware of it deeply, but mainly was helping the large organization doing the corporate innovation. So company have to continue to grow. It's very hard for large organization to do so. They usually don't have a talent, or they don't have a time, and they have a lot of the commitment towards the stakeholders. So as a consultant, we come in to help them to grow their business in the future. So by doing, for example, employee training, we could do the accelerator program, connecting startup to the corporate, or building new product and services or ventures for the company so that they can build something for the future. On the other side, I'm also helping the startup come into Australian market, but or vice versa. I work with Japanese government called JETRO. Don't know if any of you know them. So they bring all the Japanese startup want to come into the Australian market, so I help them to enter into the market. And on the line of the work, same line of work, just to help the corporate do so as well. So currently, I wear multiple hats, but main role is about chief advisor role for the company called Austria Japan Innovation Fund. So basically, that's a not-for-profit organization. So we bring the money from the large organization just to help the R&D activities who just try to solve the problem between Japan and Australia in the scientific or technological problems, and we allocate the money into them. So just probably that's enough, too much information about me, but my passion is golf. So I don't know, any of you play golf, and I try to build the golf network between Japan and Australia. So that's what Doug mentioned earlier. I'm trying to build a company who try to provide the business trip / golf outing / some kind of tourism in Australia for those company executives or small, medium company owners. So that we can just connect people face to face through interesting activities. And they just like to showcase how beautiful a country that Australia is to those people. So yeah, just provide too much information about myself. In terms of the relationship Japan-Australia, I can totally briefly mention, it's definitely quickly becoming one of the most important relationship between the countries because of what's happening globally, as you are aware. It's very political. Issue is also involved. But yes, government's already tight, but also business has started engaging each other much more. When I started doing a lot of innovation activities between Japan and Australia, that time, a lot of people didn't see each other as a country, as the partner for innovations. Because Australia sees Japan as a country in the past. Well, Japan used to be great, but not so much. And Japan saw Australia as two small countries, just not big economy. But these days, everything has changed. Japan's still thriving, particularly in the hardware development area, and also Australia is really good at software, really good at R&D. Japan is good at executing and commercialization. So these two countries start working together more tightly. And so it's now the government already just to set up all the framework, and the corporate started collaborating together So next layer will be more just kind of innovation startup. That area has to be more active, which I'm trying to stimulate. Yeah, so also the geographically very close. I mean, not close, but there's no time difference. So almost no time difference. Right now, only 1 hour difference. Once the Australia move into summertime, then become 2 hours different. I'm talking about Eastern Seaboard, so Sydney, Melbourne, Brisbane. Perth is a little bit different story, but we mainly do business between Eastern Seaboard and Japan. So that's really, really useful for everyone, just to collaborate between the countries. And culturally, funny enough, yes, we are different countries and different culture, but we have a lot of similarities. For example, Australian, Japanese are very conservative, as all you know. Australians are actually very conservative people too, very, very innovative and creative, yes, but they follow the rules. They care about efficiencies. So it's really interestingly, it's a good mix between Japan and Australia, which I didn't see until I moved to Australia because we didn't have the information in Japan. So yeah, all in all, we suffice each other. And it's not only about Japan and Australia. Obviously, Australia has a strong tie to APAC region. Japan does also. So overall, which is a good pillars for the APAC region, those two countries could do a lot with the other APAC regions for Hong Kong, for example, or Singapore, Malaysia, anywhere, because it's a good place to be right now. And yeah, so I think this is important to have this core group in the APAC region. And yeah, I'm very excited about the potential future. Yeah, I just stop for now. I've been talking by myself, feel like. Yes.
Fantastic. Great introduction, and congratulations on all the things that you're doing. There's a number of people that I think are going to make sense to make sure that you're connected to. One of them, by the way, just joined, Rochelle.
Yes,
How are
I was
you,
just
Rochelle?
thinking, oh, this interesting person. I wanted to connect with her. Yes,
Where are you
so
in Tokyo today, or
I'm in
where are you?
Tokyo right now. Yes.
Cool.
So
Nice.
you guys don't know each other yet?
No, we don't. I
No.
have never heard of you, but I definitely
Ah,
want to get to know you. So it sounds like we have lots of common interests. So, and our
Sounds
firm
great.
is expanding in Australia as well. So,
Perfect. Yeah, definitely
yeah,
so
we need to get connected.
yeah. Well,
Yeah.
we should definitely connect. Yes.
I'm going to put
Yes.
your last name in here.
Oh,
I think
yes. Thanks. Yeah.
I think I spelled it correctly, right?
Yes, you did. Yes.
Yeah, not the pig variety, the cop with a K variety.
Right. Right.
So actually, Rochelle is a troublemaker. She is a
Oh,
troublemaker. In a lot of good ways. She founded her company because she recognized that there was a cross-cultural problem with dealing with Japanese, and she's expanded that expertise to all different cultures. She happens to live in Japan, and as part of her living in Japan, she noticed that some group of people wanted to cut down a lot of big trees, and so she used that opportunity to create a little trouble on that side of things too. Have any of those trees been cut down yet?
They did cut down some of them. So this is for people who know Tokyo. It's the Jingu-Gaien area, and there is a massive development that it's planned for the area that is just you call it out of control overdevelopment. And as part of the plan, approximately 1,000 trees are going to be cut down. About 70 of them were already cut,
Wow.
and we're still working to try to prevent the rest of them from being cut down. So I've become an environmental activist in my spare time as my hobby.
You're just an activist, period. You see something that should change and you try to change it. So that's great.
eh,
We admire that. Thank you.
hey,
Would you like to do a further introduction of yourself so that we have a full
Certainly.
understanding of who you want to meet, that kind of thing?
Sure, certainly. So I had got interested in Japan when I was high school because in high school because my hobby was art and I was fascinated by Japanese art. I ended up taking Japanese in college because I was also interested in career business. I thought, well, if I learn Japanese, it will be useful for a career in business and also be fascinating from the culture side. So kind of a kill two birds with one stone strategy. And studied Japanese in college, did an internship in Japan in college, worked in consulting in the US after college, then came back to Japan and worked at the headquarters of a large Japanese bank, which is a very traditional type of organization. And so it gave me a real sense of how Japanese organizations work from the inside. And the company I was working for was rapidly expanding its global network and hiring lots of non-Japanese and all over the world and having lots of challenges integrating non-Japanese into their organization. And I experienced some of the things myself. I watched a lot of people in the company having challenges with this, and I realized as Japanese companies were expanding globally, that it wasn't going to be just my company that's having these issues. It was all the other ones that were rapidly building factories, et cetera, also all over the world. And so I got very interested in this topic of non-Japanese working in Japanese organizations. And based on that, ended up writing a book in Japanese, writing a book in English called The Rice Paper Ceiling, and starting my own firm. And that was actually 30 years ago. So I've been doing this for a very long time, working with Japanese companies in their global operations, and I have team members all over the world. Where we work with Japanese firms in their local operations in various countries, as well as with their headquarters in Japan. And we also do a lot of work with foreign firms or overseas firms that are doing business in the Japanese market, or we have partnering with Japanese firms or selling to Japanese firms or have Japanese important suppliers, et cetera. So we do cross-cultural training, we do leadership training, we do coaching, we do organization and development. All those things are delivered bilingually and biculturally. So that's me.
Brilliant. Thank you very much for sharing. What's your perspective of what's happening in the market right now? What are you seeing? Opportunities, challenges?
Well, I think obviously the U.S. The tariff situation is on everyone's mind, and I know that it's making Japanese companies very, very nervous. On the other hand, I think that for those of you who are from countries other than the United States, I think that this is also an opportunity to be doing more with Japan, as Japan looks to be strengthening its trade relations with people other than the U.S. So there's opportunities there as well for people.
Yeah, absolutely. Great observation. Thank you very much. Kaoru, not to forget about that, if you have some comments regarding some things that you might be seeing in the market right now, how are you viewing things from Australia's perspective or Japan's perspective in terms of, do you see those kinds of things that Rochelle mentioned happening? Other markets opening up?
Yeah, but definitely there's no other option, do they? So yeah, Australian wise, because we explore a lot of resources mainly, right? So that the big deal negotiation is the key, how that's the news I see every day between the prime minister, or also there's a massive election happening tomorrow, day after tomorrow, actually. So that could change all the policies in Australia as well, because probably it's predicted to change the political party, going back to the major, probably liberal. Now, currently we are in the Labour group, but it's going to switch to just probably liberal, which is more like closer tied to a lot of American, the main parties traditionally. But because of tariff situations, usually just Australia make a lot of money by exporting those metals and aluminum and stuff like that. So that's really is no good news for Australia. But other than that, Australia, I don't hear a lot from individual other type companies like a banking, the finance and the insurance, and that's another big sector in Australia. It's really, they care more about it. Consumers more care about the interest rate and stuff like that too. So overall, Australia's a little bit more stable. I hear more fear from Japan side, like Rochelle mentions, because Japan has more large organizations than Australia, and dealing with the US is the biggest counterparts for Japan. So I think Australia start exploring to deal with more other side of the world, and Japan's been doing it, but they just need to accelerate more activities there too. So I feel like more fear from Japan side than Australia. That's the conclusion. Yeah.
Got it. Just as a time check and also a couple pieces of information, and I'd like to circle back with both ladies and then open up the floor to others. We should have about 30 minutes left. We'll finish up at 5 minutes before the hour. That's our goal. As far as events that are coming up with Global Chamber that are Japan related, Jason Ball has an event next Friday, the no, this is, I think, is it the 7th? I thought it was the 7th, but the next Friday is the 9th, right? Let's see. Yeah. So it could be the 9th. I think it's the 9th because next week is Golden Week, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. So I think it's the Friday of Golden Week, the end of the week. So it's not the 7th, it's the 9th. And so we'll have information about that. And then I think it is on the 25th in Osaka at Osaka 2025. We have an African delegation from Global Chamber that's giving a presentation. So that's the 24th US time on the 25th Osaka time. And so that'll be our first event at Osaka 2025. So if any of you have experience with the Osaka 2025, I'd love to hear more about that here today. And then our next two virtual Globinars are May 29th and June 26th. So those are Japan time, and they'll be also involving Australia on both of those. Coming back to Kaoru, in terms of things that you are interested in connecting with, you mentioned about the golf. You're looking for companies in Japan that are interested in doing golf outings in Australia.
Well, yes, because golf is still at this stage integral part for a lot of business discussion. I won't say that's the only way, of course not, and especially younger generation don't play golf as much. But I can see still a lot of network created around golf club, and I know a lot of executive from Japan always come to Australia for business, but also play golf. And but they only go to the one they already know. They only go to the restaurant they were introduced. Only one, yes, one same place. So I just want to showcase more. There's more options, and I want to create opportunity for them to meet the local business people so that they can just enjoy not only playing golf or just go to a nice restaurant which they never heard or they've never been to, and also meet new people. Then they can make business out here too. So I think that's one way to connect everyone's. I'm thinking about doing that same for Japan side too. But since I live in Sydney right now, by the way, I didn't mention it. So I think it's easier for me to create it right now. So I'm networking with Golf Australia. That's the biggest organization in Australia for golf. Yeah, so just trying to build a network there. I'm sure they love to have more executive coming from not only from Japan, from around the world. So yeah, that's what I'm trying to achieve. So it is about a networking, but also showcasing Australia itself.
Fantastic. And how about you, Rochelle? What are some of the things that who would you like to connect with, you and your team?
So I think we're always looking to connect with any companies that are either experiencing challenges with cross-cultural issues or are wanting to avoid proactively experiencing challenge with cross-cultural issues. So we work a lot with in Australia and US and Canada and Europe and various other places. We work with you know local operations of Japanese companies, either training the locally hired employees on how to work effectively in a Japanese organization, or training the Japanese expats on how to be more effective working and managing in the local culture. So we're always looking to connect with those Japanese companies that are operating globally, or with any global companies that are in the Japanese market or trying to get in the Japanese market and want to make sure that they're handling their relationships with Japanese effectively.
Does anybody have any questions for either Rochelle or Kaoru?
Hey, Doug. Thank you so much. How can you send information when you are driving? So anyway, you have a great skill set. So thank you so much for Kaoru and Rochelle. I'm Pankaj Pramanik, based in North Carolina, Charlotte. We are a VC. We do funding, and we are having tough time with Australia, with APEC, with Japan, because I know only English. They don't know English, and 14-hour, 16-hour time difference. Yes, thank you so much. Definitely, we wanted to work. We wanted to help for Japan, Australia, and APEC. And hopefully, we are opening Singapore soon.
Okay. Do you have any clients in Japan or Australia now?
Yes, we have. Yes, and also we met a lot of Japanese people. But only thing is, Japanese is very rich country for all this last, that all the global conference, Semicon and all. They clearly told we have too much money. We don't want FDI. So they are all the big company. The Japan. So yes, we have clients in Sydney as well as Japan, South Korea, Taiwan.
Okay. What would an example be of a client? What would they get from you?
They are looking for FDI, and we are trying to help them fundraising.
Okay. And so you have funding, and so what would an example be of that?
Like South Korea, some company already we are working. They are looking for funding. We met on CES, some Sanho group, but 14-hour time difference is tough for them to work with South Korea. So we give it to Mi Jung. Your Mi is working with us. We give it to Mi. So Mi is our South Korean partner, and Wendy in Arizona is our Taiwan partner. So we are aggressively looking for partner who is from Australia, Japan, and APEC region, not Singapore. Singapore people talk in English, but all other countries, they don't talk in English, and I am hard time to understand. It's a lost in translation. Remember some English movie? So we are in lost in translation.
So Lost in Translation to me was a very significant movie because when I worked in Tokyo, or my office was in Gotanda, and I would change trains in Ebisu and that hit to the Hibiya-sen. And so I think a part of that movie was built around that area, or like the main hotel or something like that. So I love that movie. I love that movie a lot. It's just I could relate a lot to Bill Murray's character in some ways. So did anybody else remember that one?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
So my interest, this is great. I really want to talk to you guys more offline. So I actually went to high school in Japan, St. Mary's. I don't know if you guys know St. Mary's International School. We had our reunion a couple months ago. So I was back in Tokyo, reconnected with a lot of my friends. So a lot of now senior business people and golfers, by the way. If I can connect you to them, I'd be happy to. Also, a lot of Australians. I'm actually certifying in my program some Australians next week. So there's a lot, I know there's a lot of synergy between the two. I help golfers improve their game, but I also work as part of leadership development programs, Rochelle. So long story short, a bit of a polymath. I was a consultant for years, but then I got a contract from our Department of Defense to develop a program to reduce casualties and improve recovery from the wounds of war. So I've worked with Navy SEALs and snipers and pilots and now business leaders with a very simple but powerful program. It's the only program of its kind in the world, according to Special Operations. But as a result, I get to get connected with a lot of really amazing people. I'd be happy to share my connections with you. But for leaders, it helps them make better decisions under stress. Think of SEALs in combat. For golfers, the same thing. You mentioned Innovation Fund. We're trying to get some funding right now from an Innovation Fund in Austria to develop some devices around my program. So as you're talking, all these little bells are going off. So if there's any way we can connect maybe offline and brainstorm a little bit, I'd love to.
We'll get you.
Maybe I need to get a support from you in terms of mental. I'm just really damaged by golf, so I might need your help.
Yeah. No, Golfers are great. The golfers will spend way more on a driver than it costs to help their game, right?
John is based in Las Vegas, and we actually got to meet at CES.
Yeah,
Pankaj
that was
met.
great.
Oh, amazing.
I got to meet Pankaj at CES too, just a kind of a random meeting. So thank you, John. It was great to meet you, and thank you for your membership. Is there anything else that we can help you with?
No, basically just, brainstorming these different areas. It's how we, it's how we grow. I always try to help other people. And I love to do something, get back in Tokyo. I'll tell you, Tokyo's changed a lot in 50 years. It's crazy, crazy, crazy. But I really enjoyed being back there and want to get back there.
Is St. Mary's, that's not the one Hiro, right? That's Sacred Heart, maybe, isn't it?
Yeah, Sacred Heart. That was kind of our sister school. Yeah. So our girlfriends went to Sacred Heart. We went to St. Mary's, boys' school, girls' school. And yeah, that's right. That's
okay. Our daughter went to Nishimachi, which is by the Juban there. So
right.
Natsuyo, it sounds like you may know some of these schools. How are you? Good to see you.
Good to see you. Well, Nishimachi, I definitely know. One of my friends' two daughters are going there right now, and I grew up in Azabu-Juban area. So
we did familiar. Too. That's where we. I didn't grow up there, but definitely in a Homont Riviera, right there in next to the Juban.
Yep.
Very good. We love the Juban, especially the blue and white store. My wife kept the blue and white store in business for many years, right next to Peacock.
Okay, Peacock is not there anymore.
I heard that.
It's been gone for a while.
Okay, got it.
That's where I used to go for grocery shopping with my mom.
Well, right next to it was the blue and white store, and we kept that in business for many years.
Okay.
Let's learn more about you. The last time I saw you was at the Port of New York, New Jersey.
Yes.
So I saw you with your hard hat and all. How was that tour?
Oh yeah, that was fantastic. Well, I used to work for Itochi International Steel Department. So at that time, I was visiting ports and factories with hard hats and everything. But it's been since then. So it was a really comprehensive tour, and we had a lot of fun. Well, just to introduce myself to everyone, I don't know Rochelle. Hi, Rochelle. It's been a while.
Yes, exactly. Good to see you.
Yeah, good to see you. So my name is Natsuyo Nobumoto Lupshutz, and I'm a Japanese native, but I consider myself to be a New Yorker. I've been living in New York for 30 years now. And I'm a Japanese English bilingual keynote speaker, and I speak about cross-cultural communication. That's a very similar area as Rochelle. And I'm a cross-cultural facilitator, and the first Japanese to become a CSP, which is Certified Speaking Professional, conferred by National Speakers Association, which is the elite professional speakers designation. So I'm the first and so far only Japanese, and one of the very few Asians, and probably the only non-native English speaking professional speaker to receive a CSP. And what I do is I help global leaders and teams transform cross-cultural barriers into high performance drivers so that they can present, facilitate, and communicate effectively. So there's a lot of overlap with Japan intercultural communications, consulting, but I really focus on facilitation skills, global facilitation skills, I call it, on how to manage your culturally diverse team and improve their productivity and communicate better. And I do the cross-cultural communication training and workshop as well. And also global presentation skill training and coaching. And my focus now is keynoting. So if you and any of you know of any opportunities or companies or organizations that have global business conferences where you might be able to use a keynote speaker, I would love to know. Oh, and talking about golfing, when I was at Itochi, of course they said, "Oh, you have to go golfing with your clients," and I said, I can't golf, I'm gonna go to karaoke instead. So
Oh.
I'll take care of
Fair.
all the singing part.
Have you met
Yeah.
Manabu Sasaki of
Yeah,
Itochu?
yeah. Well, he and I share the same alma mater. He went to Waseda, and I went to Waseda, and I went to he joined Global Chamber as well. So yeah, we have a lot of things in common.
The guy, I ran a joint venture in Japan, and the sales guy, he went to Waseda, and like, oh my God, it's like
Everyone went to Waseda. Yeah.
I got so sick of Waseda and hearing how
I'm
great
sorry. We're just around.
I'm sure it's a great school, but I got tortured.
Tired of it.
So, well, that's
It's a
great.
great
Is there,
school.
so it's keynote speaking, and there probably should be something that we involve you with the Export League in Australia. I think you might have joined this meeting after we talked about that, but that's going to be in June as we kick that off. And if you're open to clients in Australia, maybe that could be interesting.
That'll be great. Interestingly, just 2 days ago, I was approached by an Australian speakers bureau, and they said there is some opportunity in June. I don't know if they're talking about the same opportunity, but well, as long as there is a sponsor who would fly me over to Australia, I'll be happy to.
Fantastic. Does anybody have any
Can
questions?
Yeah. Can I ask what kind of topic you speak for the
Cross-cultural communication.
Okay, got it.
Yeah, especially for global teams. So for keynote speaking, I touch on the high level topic. And if I go into breakout room or workshops, trainings, then I dig deeper. But for keynote, I touch on the surface of what the effective global team facilitation looks like, what will be the overall strategy for cross-cultural communication, the basic 3 steps you need to know, and also the mindset as a global leader. And if you're interested, I can send you my keynote information as well.
Yeah, I just keep my eye out just to see, if there's a big conference or something. Yeah.
Thank you.
Does anybody have anybody else would like to share anything? I see Lachlan, you're here. I think you're in the process of becoming a member, and you've got an interesting business and initiative. I don't know whether you wanted to share anything. Do you have a presence in Japan?
Hi everyone, thanks Doug. Yeah, so I'm in the process of joining your family and network, and I represent the Mary's Meals movement, which is a global non-profit school feeding program. I am based in Sydney and have kind of lived all over. I ended up getting into this space when I was living in Europe in recent years, and also have extended family in Japan, of all places. So this kind of region is where I'm very much based. And being global, we have, I guess, the joy of having lots of kind of members of our global family in different places around the world. I suppose my passion, and it's been fascinating listening to the group share here, and just being a bit of a sponge and learning about all of the interesting things you do, especially the golf. I think my passion is golf as well.
Oh, awesome.
Expensive passion.
Yeah, that's right.
Where do you play, Jerry?
Well, I'm here in Sydney. My dad is up north, like in the northern part of Sydney.
Yeah.
So sometimes I have opportunity to be there with him. And then in the western suburbs as well, I've got a few friends. So that's always fun. But yeah, I love what you said there, like building relationships and connections. For me, what I love and am passionate about And I suppose ignites like a fire within me is to see businesses really affecting impact. And you know, some of us are in that non-profit space, some are in the for-profit, but we can all be for purpose and for impact. And so I love to see how businesses are thinking innovatively about that as well.
Right.
Fantastic. Thank you for sharing. Another person in the call is Brett Humphrey, and he's a Japan superstar. In addition to that, he's went to Thunderbird and he went to my alma mater, at least my undergrad. I think his was undergrad as well. He was international political economics in Japanese. I was a chemical engineer, so very, very much different, but we both ended up in Japan. I don't know, Brett, are you available to introduce yourself? Brett Humphrey, are you there? Oh, did he disappear? Oh,
I lost him.
I scared him away. Oh my goodness. Yeah, but he's a CFO type, and he worked at AIG in Tokyo for many years, and so he spent a lot of time there, and now he's working with companies that are largely landing in the US that have a Japanese origin, and he'll work just generally. So I think he's a really great contact for many of you in terms of his remaining interaction with Japanese companies that likely will be, if you're interested in connecting up with him, please let me know and I'll make the introduction if he doesn't come back. The Belinda Wong, I don't know whether you'd like to introduce yourself. You're in Hong Kong. Are you available to say hi?
Hi, good morning. My name is Belinda Wong.
You're not a member of Global Chamber, but you know one, and that person recommended Global Chamber to you. So thank you for joining today.
My pleasure. My main business is in company formation, and I'm a writer of the Hong Kong Company Secretary's Practice Manual, which focuses on the Hong Kong corporate law and its practice. And I'm also the manager of the South China Club, connecting startup founders and entrepreneurs all over the world. South China Club is part of the Startup Club, originally from Germany. The reason I joined this event is I now got inquiries from mainland China's companies on how to expand to overseas. So Japan is one of the choices. I have put down my LinkedIn link here. So anyone interested to see my full profiles, please do so.
Okay, we definitely, one of our members specializes in that. So let me see if I can find your link, and I'll make sure that I connect the two of you.
Thank you.
Is this one here? Oh, that's Natsuyo. Okay, here you are. Okay, this should take you there. So have you already worked a little bit in Japan or in the Japanese market?
I'm a senior advisor of Uniplat Platform AG, registered in Switzerland, but the team is from Japan. The purpose of this one is to connect researchers with investors. They have issued a token, now traded in two exchange. And now they are building up a team in Sweden to research on a certain disease. Let me put down the website of this one, 21.com. So you can see
I see it.
the main business of this one.
Got it. Thank you very much for sharing. Thanks for joining today. let's look to wrap up, and I'll ask Kaoru and anyone else that'd like to make a final comment, just to review some of the things that are coming up. The Shibuya meetup that Jason Ball is doing next Friday, a week from Friday on the 9th. We will be at Osaka 2025 on May 25th, which is a Sunday in Japan. And so watch for information about that. Our next meetup is May 29th, and we'll do a better job of getting the word out and getting some additional folks that are part of Global Chamber involved with that one. The Export League for Australia is starting in June, and we'll have more information about that. And then the next meetup for Tokyo after that in June is June 26th, and I'm sure we'll have information about the Export League that should have started by then. Kaoru, do you have any additional comments that you would like to make, or anything else that you'd like to do to wrap up the conversation today?
Yes, it was great to meet you all, and I love that everyone just more, like have opinions and talkative and like to connect with others, like very like-minded people, and I love it. My question is just what kind of events or meetup you guys are looking for. Obviously, it's best you can connect with the people you love to. I get that that's a first purpose, but can we build something like just very useful for everyone? Like what kind of, just speakers maybe you want to hear from, or you just, I don't know, like what kind of topic you want to focus on. So I'm not sure if that's good to have a survey to just reach out to everyone to give us opinion. I just want to make it more purposeful. It's great to meet up time to time. That's not going to change, but just maybe it's good to build some kind of like a cadence and a very purposeful catch up. So yeah, maybe get back to you guys and speak to Doug and get back to you guys. But yeah, if you have any opinions, be great.
Let us know about that. I think one of the topics definitely is what Belinda brought up, is that people are looking for different sourcing locations, different markets, whatever the US is doing. I don't understand it. I understand it at some level, but generally don't. I don't think it's going to be ultimately beneficial for the US, but it will be beneficial for some people who take advantage of the dynamics of what's happening. And that's where we'll go. And that's how we'll support whatever happens next related to that. So stay in touch, and we definitely would look to have programming that meets the needs of folks, one of which is the sourcing aspect, and any other markets that you find to be interesting or useful, please let us know. Thank you, Kaoru, and thank you for everybody joining today and tomorrow.
Thank you.
Thanks,
so
everybody.
much.
Have a good night.
Everybody. This has been great.
Yes, thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah.
Thanks, everybody. Thanks, John. That was a good surprise. I
Well,
think I
thanks, Doug.
remember
It's kind of, having reconnected all my Japanese friends. I'm glad we had this opportunity. This is great. Fun.
Thank you. Appreciate
Take
it.
care.
And thank you, Belinda. We'll be in touch. I'll connect you up with Suzuki-san, who's been our board chair for Tokyo, and he does the work that you're talking about. So I think you'll find that to be productive.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Have a good day.
You too. Thank you. Bye.